こんにちは、Terumi です。This video is part 2 of a 4-part video series of How to pronounce small letter in Japanese language. In this lesson, you will learn how to pronounce small やゆよ sounds in Japanese words, such as 東京、京都。A lot of Japanese words are consisted of these small やゆよ sounds, and some sounds are a little tricky for non-native Japanese speakers, but I found some sounds are similar to English sounds. So I will start to show you the words which are similar to English, so you will easier to follow. And then you will learn more challenging sounds later in this video. And when we describe these sounds in English alphabet, we use it like kya, sha, cha, nya, hya, mya, rya. And for sha, cha, sometimes we use sha, cha as well, which means all these sounds are including Y sound in it. So when you pronounce these sounds, you need to make tiny Y sound. E. Like when you pronounce Y in English, ye, like yellow. Let's take a look with example words. First sound is ka. It's similar sound to ka, as in cat in English, but a little softer and shorter. Ka, ka. Example word, 客. 客 means customer, guest. We usually put o at the beginning of the word, so it's お客. We often put o at the beginning of the word to express politeness and respect. And more polite, more common ways are お客さん、お客様. San represents Mr. Ms. Sama represents Sir, Ma'am. So sama more polite than san. This is one of our cultures that we treat customer like a god. It's exaggerated, but they say お客様は神様です。お客様は神様です。神様 means God, so it literally means the customer is a god, and it indicates the customer is always right. And we always keep in mind an appreciation towards customers. That's why we call customer in these ways. お客さん、お客様. Let's practice. きや、きや、きや、きゃ、きゃ、客、客、お客、お客、お客さん、お客様. Next sound is Q. It's similar sound to Q, as in Q in English, like crayon Q. Example word, Q. Q means 9, number 9. We describe it with hands, like Q. It's almost similar to Q in English, but a little bit shorter. Q, Q. And Q means urgent, sudden, abrupt. Q. The intonation is different. Number 9, Q, Q. Urgent, Q, Q. 急だね means it's sudden, isn't it? In a casual way. You can say 急だね. When you say 急だね, だね in the end, it sounds more stronger and expresses seeking consent from others. 急だね. Polite ways are 急ですね or 急ですね. きゆ、きゆ、きゆ、きゅ、 急急急急 Next sound is きょきょ Example word きょうきょう means today, but we often pronounce it as きょう or きょう Another example word is 京都京都 but we often pronounce it as 京都 or 京都 Kyoto is one of the most famous, historic, and most beautiful touristic places in Japan. Originally, it was called Miyako, which means the capital, because it was the capital of Japan for over 1,000 years. Before it moved to Edo, which is called Tokyo currently. So next example word is Tokyo. This is the view from Asakusa, Tokyo. The tower you see is the tallest tower in the world, which is called Sky Tree. In Japanese, Sky Tree. Tokyo is a mixed cultural city, as you can see in this picture. Historic tradition and high technology mixed together. Also, a lot of Western culture influenced in recent periods. Let's go back to the lesson. Correctly, it's Tokyo, but we often pronounce it as Tokyo or Tokyo. But don't accent like Tokyo, but it's Tokyo, Tokyo. Kiyo, kiyo, kyo, kyo, kyou, 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 Kyoto, 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 Tokyo, 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 Tokyo. Next sound is sha, sha. It's similar sound to sha, as in shy in English, but you don't need to round the lip like sh. Just a neutral shaped. Sha, sha. Example word, 会社. 会社 means company, corporate. We often describe it as at work, workplace. For example, if you work for a company, you would say to your partner or roommate when you leave home to your workplace, 会社に行ってくる。会社に行ってくるね。Friendly way. 行ってくる means go and come back. 行く is the original word, which means go. 来る means come. 行ってくる。It's more common to say than 仕事に行ってくる。仕事 means job. But we more often say 会社に行ってくる。If you work for a company. Let's practice. しや、しや、しゃ、しゃ。会社、会社。Next sound is cha, cha. It's similar sound to cha, as in China. Like you learned it in sha. You don't need round lips like ch, just neutral. Cha, cha. Example word, お茶、お茶。Cha means tea, but we usually call it in a polite way, お茶。And in general, ocha represents green tea. And for black tea, we call it koucha. Koucha. But we pronounce it often kocha. Kocha. This Chinese character represents deep red. お茶が入ったよ means tea is ready in a casual way. Hairu is the original word, which means enter, fill up. Also, brew, coffee or tea. Polite way is お茶が入りました。お茶が入りました。There is the R sound here. Japanese R sound is different from English. Writing in English alphabet, we use letter R, but we don't pronounce it as R. It's more similar sound to L sound. So you want to tip your tongue to the upper gum ridge. り、り、入り、入り、入りました。入りました。お茶が入りました。I have made another video about Japanese R sound. So please check out the video link here to learn more about the Japanese R sound. When you want to address to all people, for example, all family members or at work, and let other people know tea is ready, you would say, お茶が入りましたよ. Sounds like, tea is ready. Let's have a break. お茶が入りましたよ. In this phrase, お茶 could be any kind of tea, also including coffee sometimes. ちや、ちや、ちや、茶、お茶、お茶. Next sound is new, new. There is small I sound in between N and Y. Sounds like this. And trying to pronounce all N-I-Y all together. New, new, new. Example word. New, new. It's new in English. We usually use new in combination with other words. For example, new technology or new hairstyle. And new itself in Japanese is 新しい or 最新. 最新 means newest. 最新技術 means newest technology. 技術. I know it's very difficult to pronounce, but I will cover these sounds on part 3 of this series. So please stay tuned. Another example word is news. News. News is news in English. It sounds like this. News. We use a lot of universal and English words into Japanese language, like this news. And we describe it in Katakana form. And when word needs to be stretched, like this, new, we use this bar, like this, news. にゆ、にゆ、にゆ、にゅ、new, new, news, news. Next sound is ひゃ、ひゃ. It sounds like this. Small I sound in between H and Y. ひゃ、ひゃ. But trying to pronounce all together. ひゃ、ひゃ. Example word. 100, 100. 100 means 100. 100. Don't accent like 100, but it's 100, 100. And 100 times is 100回, 100回. There is a small t sound here, which means you need to stop there. 100, 100回, 100回. If you haven't watched part 1 of this series of how to pronounce small t sound, please check out the video link here to learn more about small t sound. ひや、ひや、 ひゃ、ひゃ、ひゃ、100、100、100回、100回。Next sound is mu, mu. It sounds like this. Small I sound between M and Y. Mu. But again, trying to M-I-Y, pronounce all together. Mu, mu. Example word. Music, music. It's music in English. In Japanese, music. But we usually use music in combination with other words. For example, acoustic music or pop music. But for pop music, we often call it pops. Pops. But many people accent like pops. Pops. Music itself, we usually call it in Japanese, which is 音楽. 音楽. This Chinese character represents sound. In Japanese, 音. And this Chinese character represents happy, fun. In Japanese, 楽しい. So that 音楽 represents pleasing sound. みゆ、みゆ、みゆ、みゅ、みゅ。music, music. Next sound is みょ、みょ. Sounds like this. Small I sound in between M and Y. And again, trying to pronounce all together. みょ、みょ. Example word. 妙. 妙 means strange, weird. 妙だね means it's strange, isn't it? You can say 妙だよね. It's the same way you have learned earlier, 急だね. It sounds more stronger and expresses seeking consent from others. 妙だよね. Polite form is 妙ですね or 妙ですよね. Next sound is りゅ. りゅ. I think this is one of the most difficult sound for non-native Japanese speakers because it's combination with ri, R sound here. Remember, Japanese R sound, you need to tip your tongue to the upper gum ridge. Ri, ryu, ryu. Sounds like this, but try to pronounce all together. Ryu, ryu. Example word. 竜 竜 竜 means dragon and 理由 means reason. 理由 reason. 竜 竜 dragon. And another example word is 流行 流行 means Vogue, trend. 流行. We often pronounce it as 流行 or 流行 流行. And a verb is 流行する boom, catch on, also become epidemic. 流行する. In a conversation, we often pronounce it as 流行する or 流行する 流行する. Another word is 流行る 流行る is exactly same meaning with 流行する. 流行る is more conversational than 流行する. 理由理由理由竜竜竜 流流行流行流行流行流行する流行する流行する Next sound is りょりょ There's small I sound in between R and Y りょりょ Example word 料理料理料理 is cooking dish. There are two R sounds here. It sounds like this. 料理料理料理 But we often pronounce it as 料理料理 or 料理 And the verb is 料理する do cooking 料理するりよりよりよりょりょ料理料理料理料理料理する料理する料理するお疲れ様でした。それでは See you on the part 3 of this series How to pronounce small letter in Japanese language If you like this lesson, please like this video and be sure to subscribe so you will not miss my future lessons. Thank you for watching on Japanese Conversation with Terumi. See you soon! さようなら